Right, hi guys, I've had my cup of tea. Skippy's resting, watching a bit of telly. I'm going to do my apple pies and do the wash-up chat to you guys. So that's why Skippy's going to stay where she is. Right, here we go. I did turn the water on tonight, I did remember. Right, there we go, got some lights coming on. Let me extend the stick. I've cooled down now. I had to let my cup of tea get cold before I could drink it. I was so hot. It is really muggy tonight. I don't know what the weather's going to be like for the weekend. I did mention to Skippy about this. I said, have you checked up to see what the weather's doing? And she said no. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, we're going to get so hot. And she also said to me, how are you getting on with your non-wide? When I went to see my surgeon in Norwich, oh gosh, it must be over a month ago now. I had to go and have a checkup on the breast, and I've been told by my surgeon that I should not wear underwide bras. Okay, I love underwide bras. I just love the sensation. They're just fantastic. But I was going to visit my surgeon, and I knew if he saw my underwide bras, I'd be in trouble. So we went to Norwich. And the first place or port to call when we got to Norwich was Bravismo. I went to a Bravismo shop and I bought 3 non-wide bras. They are gorgeous. They are so comfortable. And Skippy just asked me, she said, what did you reckon to your non-wide bra? I said, it is really, really comfortable. I said, really comfortable. I said, but I just love the sensation of the wires underneath my breasts. And I said, as much as I love them, I still love the sensation of the wires under my breath. And she said she'd seen one advertised her size and she was thinking about getting it. I said, oh, they are super comfortable, really, really comfortable. I said, in fact, when we go to Liverpool on Saturday, I'm going to put one on under a t-shirt because it's going to be a day of moving things about, lugging them up and down the stairs and putting them in the back of the van. And I think if I put a non-wide bra on, it'll be a lot more comfortable for the day. So I will wear one of those bras. That will be the first time since I came back from Norwich, but they are lovely bras. So yes. Right, let me do the washing. I can have my apple pies. Time-wise, it's 9:25 now. I've been sat in the lounge with Skippy, Snoop and Sooty. We've all been on the sofa together, watching a little bit of telly, doing a little bit on the phones. It's been really good. It's been a lovely, relaxing evening. I needed it. Tomorrow is, yes, it is Friday. It's thank God for Friday. So last day of the week, but it's going to be a busy weekend. You all know I'm off to Liverpool, so it's going to be really busy this weekend. Right, I've just rinsed these cups out, then I'm going to fill the bowl up. I'm waiting for the hot water to come through. Here it comes, it's just coming now. Then we get the washing done. Now I can chat to you while I'm doing the washing. Alright, that's 1, 2, 3. One on there. Right, that's all done. I stabbed these little pods you get the coffee in. Once they've been used, they're full of water. And if you throw them in the bin, they fill the bin up with water. So what I do is I've got a sharp knife and I put them in the sink over the drain hole and I bang the knife through them. It splits them open and then the water drains out and then you can just throw them away in the bin. And that's what I've just done with that one. So I can get rid of them now. Put them straight in the bin. Just like that. All right, let's do the washing up, guys. And that goes there. Right. Snoop knows it's getting close to apple pie time. That's why he's wandered around in the kitchen. Right, let's do this lot. Soak as much as I can, and then we do this first. Right, that'll do for the moment. Let me grab my apron. lovely. I'm pleased I got the garden sorted tonight. I wanted to do it last weekend, but there was no way I could get it done. There was just so much to do, and all the weekends have been like that recently. I've just had so much on and just can't find the time to do it. And so I thought tonight, coming back from work, I thought, yes, I'm going to do it. As soon as I get back home, I'm going to have my cup of tea, have my lollipop, and I'm going to go straight up the garden. And I said this to Skippy, and she went, I've got dinner on. I went, oh, all right. So I had to have dinner first. The boys have had their dinner as well. That's better, that's more comfortable. Hello. Snoop still wants something else to eat though. There's a good boy. You are a good boy, I know, you're a diamond. Anyway, what can we talk about? Got to be something we can talk about. I told you about my career history last night, about where I started off, when I started off leaving school and going straight into the motor trade. And I was speaking to somebody at work today, and they are 45, they're 45 this year, so they're exactly 20 years younger than me. And I said, so when they were born, I was 20 years old, and I thought, I was on my second garage. When I was 20 years old, I was actually on my second garage. I was on the Datsun garages when I was 20 years old. I'd left the Vauxhall garage and gone to Datsun, and I thought, oh my gosh, I think he was just born then. And there's me at work. It makes you think, doesn't it? And I mentioned he said to me he'd got a couple of daughters, and I said, I asked the age. I think his daughters, or daughter, he's got two daughters. I think one of them's 13. I don't know if the other one's old or young. I don't think they're twins. And we were talking about them. And when he told me how old he was, I said, oh, I said, well, you're not a million miles away from my children's age. And he went, what, 13? And I said, no. I said, your age. I said, I said, my son's in his late 30s. I said, so he's not far behind you. And it made his eyes grow a little bit wider when I said that. It's funny when people say a year to me, I convert it into registrations. And yeah, it's just something I've always done. When I work at a garage, I leave one garage and start at another, and I know what the reg was when I started, when I finished. I don't know why, it's just one of those things I've done. And it's like specific events as well. You can always remember where you are at specific events. Now, 9/11, we can all remember 9/11 when the Twin Towers got struck in the United States. And I was working in Bury at the time, and the first I heard about it was some salesmen. They had a TV on in the showroom, and I think the news was on. I think they'd got it in like the customers' sitting area. They'd got like a coffee machine, a TV, so the customers could sit and wait for the cars and watch the telly. Well, the news was on, and that's how the sales staff knew about the Twin Towers getting struck by these aircraft. And they soon started saying, oh, have you seen what's going on in the United States? And everybody went into the showroom to have a look. And yeah, it's unbelievable to think that was all those years ago, guys. All those years ago. A bit like I was talking the other day about COVID. And COVID was 5 years ago. That was 2020. That's 5 years ago. It just doesn't seem possible it was that long ago. How time flies. It does, it absolutely flies. And I think the older you get, the quicker it seems to go. I can remember going over to Newmarket to see my granddad on his 90th birthday, and he was in a home, but it wasn't it was just a council flat, but it was a warden flat, so you could ring a bell if you wanted assistance. But he cooked his own food. He was able to look after himself at the time. As things got progressively worse, he ended up having to go into a full-time home where he was looked after. But when he was 90 years old, he lived in this home in Newmarket. And now I'm looking back at that and thinking, oh my goodness, we went and saw my granddad on his 90th birthday. My dad has only just had his 90th birthday. He had it in November last year. And that made me think as well, thinking, oh, you know, how time goes on. There's 26 years between myself and my dad. So 26 years on, I'll be, or 25 now, I'll be in the same position as my dad is, you know, in my 90s. That's just, wow, that's just amazing, isn't it, to think how quick the time goes, guys. It really does. And I had an uncle and an auntie, Uncle Bob and Auntie Edith. And I can remember my Uncle Bob, he had a stroke, and it affected one side of his body, so he's unable to go upstairs. He could walk with a one of those walking frames, and he used to go down the pub and he was the very first person I've ever seen who had a mobility scooter, and this is going back years. This has got to be going back nearly 30 years, and I can remember my Uncle Bob having a mobility scooter. So I didn't realise they'd been out that long, but they have. And I can remember him having one in his barn. He was a farmer, and he had a big barn, and he used to put his mobility scooter in the barn to charge it up. And then he'd go to the pub every dinner time, or just before dinner, he'd go down the pub and have a pint on his mobility scooter. I'm not 100% sure how he got in, because this was a little village pub, and I don't know how he got from out the car park to the bar. He obviously managed it. I don't know how. Maybe they came out and helped him, but he'd go and have a pint every day. Well, apart from Sundays. And I'd often, when I stayed with him, I'd meet up with him as he was going home for dinner, and I'd walk alongside him as he was going back for dinner. And I can always remember my Uncle Bob saying to me, you know, he said, this getting old, he said, it's no joke. Bless his cotton socks. He was a lovely fella, really, really lovely fella. He had a heart of gold. He came over as being all rough, but he was a lovely fella, really, really nice. Yes, Uncle Bob. Yeah, sorely missed. And his wife, my Auntie Edith, she looked after him. She was 10 years younger than him. She looked after him. He had his stroke when he was, hang on, I'm trying to think how old he was. He was 80 when he had his stroke, and she looked after him for 10 years until he had a second stroke, which he unfortunately died of. And she was 10 years younger than him, so she was looking after him when she was in her 80s. And she ended up in a home in Littleport, which is just outside Ely, and she was a lovely, lovely lady. And yeah, again, she didn't have a stroke, she died of old age. Things caught up with her, and yeah, what a beautiful, I have some fantastic memories of both of them, really lovely memories. And so with my nan and pop. My nan, whenever I used to go and visit my nan, she was always not well. She was always in bed. She lived in it was a council house, but it was do they call them masonettes? It was a house, but they had the upstairs part and downstairs was a separate part. I think it's called a masonette. Put me right if I'm wrong. But that was in Newmarket. And I used to go to visit them, and you had to go up the stairs as soon as you got to the top of the stairs, there was a door. I suppose it wasn't the front door, but you opened the door and it took you into a hallway, and her bedroom was always to the right. So as soon as I got up the stairs, I'd always look to the right and say, hi Nan. And she'd say, hi. I won't say what she called me, but she'd say, hi. And she'd shout out to her husband, and I won't mention his name either, my pop. And she'd say, pop the kettle on. And I used to go and sit down and have a cup of tea and some biscuits with them, and they were lovely. But yeah, she was always ill. I can remember always being ill, and she was one of these she always cried wolf, and that in some ways led to her demise. What happened, she moved from Newmarket to Bury St Edmunds, and her health issues continued, as they always did. And if you phoned up to talk to my auntie, my mum's sister, my auntie would say, oh, Mum's in bed again. To my mum, she'd say this to my mum. She'd say, oh, Mum's in bed again. She's not feeling very well. And they'd go, yeah, that's just Mum. She's always in bed. She's always not feeling well. Well, this time, she really wasn't well. And she ended up going to Bury Hospital and she died. And she apparently had a perforated stomach ulcer and she bled to death. And they couldn't find it in time to save her. She lost so much blood, she actually bled to death. And she was 84 when she passed. And then my grandfather, he lived for another 10 years after that, and he died just before his 95th birthday. So he did really well, but he was in a home in Bury when he passed. But he lived to a ripe old age, and so did everybody else in my grandfather's family. They all lived to a good age. My grandfather was Welsh. He came from the Rhondda Valley, and his parents moved from the Rhondda Valley to Cardiff. And his mum ran some shops, and my granddad used to, as a schoolboy, used to work for his mum going out delivering food. He had a push bike and go out delivering food. A bit like the Tesco's delivery vans now, I suppose, but he got on the push bike back in the day. Right, let me get some more washing up done, guys. But lovely memories. I've got great fond memories of all my relations, all of them. And the good times, I think it's always sad when you lose them, but I think it's always best to think back to all those lovely things you did together. Going to air shows with my grandparents, my nan and pop used to take me to air shows, and they took me to 2 air shows. Oh, that was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And they were always there. My grandparents were always there. And you know, whenever I'd go round and visit them, first thing they'd do, put the kettle on. Every time, put the kettle on, and I'd get the biscuits, go and get the biscuits, and we'd sit there talking. And it's just fond memories I've got of them. Right, oh, got the plates now. Right, here we go. Oh, I'll actually put the whole lot in and let them soak while I'm talking to you guys. So what else can we talk about? My relations, yeah, we've done those. I've done my working career, did that last night. Still at it, obviously I'm still at it now. I don't know that I'll ever stop, you know I won't. I won't be in the motor trade, but I won't ever stop working. I don't think anybody can afford to do that now. I think everybody needs that little bit of money just to pay those bills. The bills are never going down, they're always going up. Everything's going up. But, yeah, I think we'll always have to work. My younger sister said she will never retire. She loves her job so much. And she's only doing 3 days a week anyway. And she loves it. She absolutely loves it. And she said she'll never give up working. She just loves her job so much. And that's great. That's lovely if you've got a job like that you love that much. And she's good at it. She's very good at her job as well. She actually won a trip to Brussels. I think it was must be over a month ago now. She went to Brussels. I think it was like a day's visit to Brussels as a prize for doing so well at the travel agents. She had a day out in Brussels. So it was a long old day, but she went to Brussels. I don't think she went on her own. I think there was probably a couple of them went, but she had to go to Brussels. And Brussels is a wonderful place. I've been to Brussels. It's really, really nice. So yeah, she loves her job. Oh, look out, I'm knocking the place out. That's it. Snoop's fast asleep. He's rolled his eyes. You know what dogs do when they go to sleep? Have their eyes rolled back. Oh, he's looking at me. Because I mentioned his name, I think. I think he's poised for when I get the apple pies out. It's a hard life these dogs lead, you know. They get up in the morning, I let them up the garden, and they come in and have something to eat. Then they go and have a sleep. They have a sleep again. They go and lay down. They go out for a walk. They come back and they eat. They go and play in the garden. They come in and have cuddles on the sofa. They're lovely. They're gorgeous. I wouldn't be without my dogs. I love my dogs to bits. Right, here we go. I did mention on a video this afternoon, I think I put a video on, and it's about a meeting I had with a badger. I was out on a walk with my two boys. I'd gone to a place called Bridge Street, and I was heading towards the railway line that ran between Long Melford and Lavenham. I hadn't got to it at this time. I was heading across along the edge of the fields on footpaths, heading towards picking up this railway line. And this badger came out of the hedge in front of me. It was probably about 50 yards ahead of me, so it was a fair way ahead of me. And it had its back to me. It came out and it sort of walked the same way I was going, but it had its back to me. And then it must have heard me. I stopped as soon as I saw it come out of the hedge. And it turned around and it saw me and the dogs. And then it started to run towards us. And I was thinking, oh my, I thought, is he going to attack us? That's what it looked like. He's running right up towards us. I'd got both the boys on the leads. They were on extended leads, so I was busy pulling the boys back as this badger was running towards us. And I thought he was going to attack us and me and the dogs. But just before he got to us, he dived into the hedge on my right-hand side. He's probably about 15 foot away from me, so he's really close. And he just dived into the hedge. And then I could hear him going along in the hedge beside me and going past me. And when I peered through the hedge to see where he was going, there was a badger den in there. And that's where he was heading. So obviously that was his home, and he was going home. We'd startled him. But you don't often see badgers out during the daylight, so that surprised me to see it. It was early in the morning, but it was light. The sun was up. It was a lovely light morning. But yeah, that made me jump, the way he ran towards us. And I don't know whether badgers would attack you, but they're pretty ferocious. They've got a fair set of teeth on these things, these badgers. So I'm pretty sure they could stand their ground. But yes, that did surprise me. Here we go. Right, one more bowl to go, then we'll just on the colander and the dog's dishes. And that should be it, guys. And then I'm going to do my apple pies. And it's getting late, isn't it? It's 9:45 now. I should be thinking about going to bed, but I want my apple pies. I'm still hungry. I had a lovely salad. I had chicken and salad tonight. And that was really nice, really nice. And when I got home, Skippy had just come back from walking the boys. And did I tell you I got a new fan? I had an oscillating fan I got the other day off eBay, and I put it all together and it just shook itself to bits. It was so out of balance, it was unbelievable. The whole thing shook, and I tried to reload. You could put the fan on in two positions, and I tried both positions, and it was just as bad. It didn't make any difference. It was just so out of balance. So I refused it. I boxed it back up and I sent it back and got my money back. And I thought, well, it was a cheap fan, but I didn't think it was going to be like that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone for it. So I got my money back, and then I looked for a slightly better quality, a better known make, and I got a German fan. It's a well-known German fan, and it is brilliant. Chalk and cheese, guys. It's fantastic. And so when I got home from work this evening, Skippy had just got back from walking the boys, and as I walked in, the fan was going, and Skippy was stood in front of it going, "This is fantastic." And it was like a gale. It was really nice. So yeah, you get what you pay for. But yes, lesson learned. There is an ongoing saga with my young sister in the car. Now, she was supposed to pick the car up on the Wednesday, and she phoned up the garage to see what time she could go and pick it up, and they'd forgotten, and they'd gone down to London, and I think there was two of them running this garage, and they'd gone down to London to pick up another car. So she was not a happy bunny. She was very unhappy, and she said to them that she needed the car for today, this morning, because she had to go to work, and that she hadn't got a car anymore. And so they brought the car to her this morning. She said they turned up at 7:15 this morning with the car, left the car. She got in the car to go to work, and it broke down. So she phones them up, and they were still going back. They were still going back to the garage when she phoned them up. And she said, "You're going to have to come back. The car's broken down." So they turned around and came back. And they said, "Right, we'll have to leave you this." They've got a courtesy car with them. A dump car, I suppose, is what we call it. And so they said, "Well, you'll have to use this, and we'll take the mini back." And so off they set in the Mini, and they phoned up a little while later. They said, "We're broken down." She had to go and find them and help them jump start it. And yeah, they did get it back eventually, but apparently it needed an alternator and it wasn't charging and it went flat, and that's why it broke down. So they've still got the car. They said they'll have it all sorted tomorrow, so hopefully she'll have it for the weekend. So yes, watch this space. This might not have finished yet. Could only happen to my sister. Oh dear. I'm pleased I'm not involved yet. Oh dear. I can see this going so wrong. But if it's what she wants. Oh dear. Should have stayed with Japanese, that's what I say. Never mind. Right, that's it. That's all the washing done. I can tip this water away. We can do my apple pies. This is where my two boys will come in again. Right, there we go. All done. Right, we're done. I'll leave that in there. Where's the towel? And we can do these apple pies. I'm sure my boys will be in. I'll put the camera the other way around so you can see the boys come to the doorway, because you know they will. Now, are we going to have a bet on which one's going to come into the kitchen first? I think I know which one's going to come in first. They're nowhere to be seen at the moment. There's no dogs here at all. But as soon as I get those apple pies out, one of them is going to come trotting in. I'm not going to say which one I think it is. I want you to guess. See if you guess right. Right, let me bring this over here and we'll see which one does it. So I'll get the bowl out first. The bowl might trigger it. See, there's no... Oh, there, look, can you see? That is Sooty. That's Sooty's head there. So you watch, see who comes first. I'll get the bowl out first and see if they come in when they get the bowl out. Here comes the bowl. Right, that's the bowl out. No movement at the moment. Right, we're going for the apple pies. Here we go. That's the cupboard door. Here comes Sooty. And here comes Snoop. And Snoop's the first one in. I knew he was going to come in first. I just knew it. I hope you got it right. Let me just twist the camera out. He's so predictable. You can read my boys like a book. You know exactly what they're going to do. Especially Snoop. He's very cute. You are. He's licking his lips. He knows what's coming. Sooty's just behind me. Can you see him? He's very patient. Sooty's is more patient than Snoop is. Right, he should be coming in any minute now. Here he comes. He knows the pies, the crusts are now ready for him. So he's now coming like, whereas Snoop will be here beforehand. Right, here we go. Right, what have I got for you boys? Okay, nicely. Yes, good boys. Right, the boys have got their apple pies. Let me slide the stick down so you can see the boys. There you go. Good boy, Snoop. That didn't take you long. Right, and I'm going to have cold again because it is quite muggy tonight. And I can take this apron off as well. There you go. Right, here we go, guys. Now, I should be getting a call any minute now, usually about 10 o'clock. I get a call from Northern Ireland, and this is Martin. Now, Martin is a regular, and Martin will send me a morning message, first thing in the morning, and he'll send me a night message every night. So this is for you, Martin. I'm waiting for your call, but we are about 8 minutes early at the moment, so I might have finished my apple pies by then. But I'll try and get this off without mucking my hair up too much. Right, there we go. Whew. Good boys. Can I come past you, please, Snoopers? Thank you. Right, all done. Where's Snoop? Right, guys. Here we go. I'll just put my apron away. Grab a spoon. And I'm going back in the front room. Have these apple pies, then I'll be putting the boys to bed after that. Good boys. Right, that's done. Grab my apple pies. I'll shorten the selfie stick, guys, so I can carry it by the handle. That's better. And fold it. There we go. And twist it. There you go. Bit of a palaver, but we're there now. Right, I'm going in the front room now. Let's turn this kitchen light out. Here we go. Good boy, Sooty. Right, it's apple pie time for me. Then me and Skippy will be going to bed. But I will put the boys to bed before that. So I'm going to sign out now. And I shall speak to you a little bit later. Okay, bye.